Now the agency is searching for Californians to pay. Quite a reversal to witness for the advocates who've been pressing the agency for action and accountability since the coronavirus outbreak first kicked operations over at the Employment Development Department right into high gear. Daniela Urban is one of those advocates. She is the executive director of the Center for Workers' Rights and is live with me now. Daniela, good morning to you.
Good morning.
For as early as you got into this fight to have EDD follow its own rules and be more transparent about its criteria and address really the heartbreaking situations of your clients, people who were really desperate with no income during the height of the pandemic, what is it like for you to hear that EDD is now saying, hey, we have money, come get it, we're having trouble finding you?
Yeah, to be clear, the changes that are happening right now are a result of clarifications in the pandemic rules from the Department of Labor. So the EDD was asked to communicate with those who received benefits under certain criteria during the pandemic and make sure that if they were denied, they should now receive those benefits. So these are all individuals who previously faced a denial and now are able to get benefits that they should have been paid before. And this is, good clarity, and we're glad that these changes are being made. But it is not, because EDD is deciding to expand the program by their own accord.
Oh, no, we don't mean that they're expanding. It's just these were people that technically did qualify actually like all along. And we're talking about 100,000 people, not a small number of Californians that they're estimating. And the reason given, as you were kind of mentioning, some new criteria, these folks were denied help when they originally applied, is that the nature of who was qualified or eligible for state unemployment was expanded during the COVID outbreak. And that expansion included people who left jobs because they felt unsafe due to their company's lack of COVID-19 safety measures, school employees whose hours were changed due to COVID. It does seem kind of simple, though. These are the changes. These are the people who now qualify. So do you have an estimate about why it was so confusing to get them paid?
Yeah, this has to do with the transition between the two programs, the state UI program and then the pandemic related programs. So what this allows EDD to do is make sure that when they're reviewing the claims that happened during the pandemic, that they've reviewed eligibility under both. And even though we don't know everything about those 100,000 claimants, I imagine that many of those are folks that were stuck in between. They didn't qualify for the state UI benefits or were denied under state UI, but didn't quite fit in those pandemic related categories. But now with the clarification on those categories, it's clear which program they belong in, and they'll be able to receive those benefits.
Your center, between the end of last year and the beginning of this one, won two massive settlements against the EDD in the span of about 4 months about language access and back pay. Are you looking at any other legal action that you can tell us about over any other lingering issues, or are the processes with the state agency, in your opinion, finally kind of straightening out?
We see a lot of great improvements at EDD now that they're getting through the backlog of their claims and able to make proactive changes. But there are still major flaws in the system that we hope can be resolved, whether that requires legislation, litigation, or other advocacy. We are certainly continuing to push EDD to serve claimants as best as possible, and we hope to get additional resolutions. We're at an interesting point with EDD. They're embarking on their modernization procedure, which we have been long awaiting for. It is the source of a lot of these issues, and we hope that they can use that procedure to make some of these changes that have long been needed in the department.
And when you talk about modernization, you mean the computer systems and the phone systems that definitely failed, that the governor himself has called ancient in like circa 1960, right? That's what we're talking about?
Yes, they predate my birth. They are very old, and the modernization, which EDD is calling EDD Next, has been in the governor's budget last year. It will be a long, multi-year process. We have begun to meet with EDD on some of the changes that they hope to implement as part of that, but there are many opportunities to improve the system within that program, and we hope that EDD is open to making those changes.
All righty. Well, thank you so much for checking back in. We know that you have been following developments there, and we'll follow up with you about that modernization project. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.